What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the channel. Hey, we've got another roster move to talk about, and this one's kind of a interesting one, a tough one to break down for me. I'm not going to lie. As the Mariners have re-signed infielder Jorge Polanco to a one-year deal for about $7.5 million. It can get up to $11 million with the incentives. Before I dive any further into this move, do me a favor, smash the like button. It helps out the channel tremendously. Even if you disagree with me, but you like the channel, it does help it out. But it'll help out the channel a lot to hit the like button. Hit subscribe if you're new here. I have breakdowns for all the Mariners moves. Plus, I do a post-game recap for every single Mariners game, so I think you'll enjoy the channel, and comment your thoughts down below. I will say right away with the contract, 7.5 seems a little steep, not going to lie, especially for a team that doesn't have a huge budget. 15 million, 3 to Solano, 7 for Polanco. So you got about 4 or 5 left. I don't worry too much about the incentive stuff, honestly, when I break these down, because I'm kind of a believer, like, if a lot of these guys hit their incentives, then they're providing a lot of value to the team. So fine, they got a couple extra bucks. That stuff I usually don't take into consideration too much. Like I said, it's kind of a tough one to break down because Polanco was on the Mariners last year as their everyday second baseman. Also sounds like he's going to play third base. I'll dive into all that in the video. But he was a Mariner last year, so this is not a new acquisition. It's a re-signing. But normally re-signings happen a lot faster, so you don't have as much time to stew over them because, you know, Polanco had the team option that they declined, and that was smart. It was $12 million. So no matter where you stand, that was the smart decision because they at least, the very least, saved themselves $4.5 million. But this is a guy that was on the team last year. So it's hard to look at this as a new acquisition. Yet we've gone so far into the offseason, it kind of does feel like a new player a little bit, for me at least. Like, you know, if it was done right away, it wouldn't have felt that way. But now it kind of does feel like a new acquisition. I think we've gotten so far into the offseason, we've sort of talked about this roster without Jorge Polanco on it. So I think that's why it does kind of feel like a new acquisition. I'm going to get it right out on the table. I don't love it. I don't. But where this team is at and the position they've put themselves in, I mean, I get it. I get signing them, right? I mean, third base, second base, wherever, you know, looks like third base. Like I said, I'll get into that. But regardless, I mean, third base was looking like either Solano or Austin Shenton, Dylan Moore. Second base was either going to be Dylan Moore or Ryan Bliss or something. So I can't be mad that they're adding someone that I do think is probably a better offensive player than those guys, or at least I don't want to say a sure thing because Polanco was not great last year, but a little bit more of that veteran sure thing than the other guys are. So I do think it is an upgrade, right? I do think the Seattle Mariners are probably better today signing Polanco than they were an hour ago. It's just we've gotten to that point in the offseason where it's kind of like I said, it's essentially, listen, you have nothing to eat, right? There's a McDonald's cheeseburger that's been sitting on the counter for an hour. It's kind of cold. It's kind of gross. It's not your favorite, but it's food, right? You got to eat it. Eating is better than not eating. And I don't want to reduce Polanco just to that because there are some good things that we'll talk about that could provide some value, but it's better than what I think they currently had. So I can't be mad from that standpoint. But it's certainly not something that I was really adamant with them signing Polanco. I didn't want them to pick up the option. And again, no matter how you view Polanco, I think that was the right decision. Obviously it was. But I just seemed like a player that was getting older, might be aging, coming off an injury. Yes, there could be bounce back, but is there going to be more issues? He was not good defensively last year. There were some offensive bright spots, but overall just wasn't someone I was just ready to kind of move on. So, but he is back. And with the way the roster is, kind of makes sense. So if that kind of gives you where I'm at on it, it's again, it's not what I would have, like said, that McDonald's cheeseburger is not what I would have wanted for dinner, but you got to eat. So you kind of got to do it a little bit. So I can't be mad at them for doing it, but I can be mad at them for what they've done that's led to the point where you almost had to do this move. Hopefully that little ramble made sense. Okay. Obviously, overall, Jorge Polanco was not great last year. We know he wasn't good defensively, and he trotted out a 92 WRC plus, a 287 weighted on base average. He hit 213, 296 OBP, 355 slugging. Jorge Polanco was not very good last year. However, he did manage a 114 WRC plus in the second half, A lot of talk that he was just more banged up in the first half than he let on. He did miss some time on that injured list. And his strikeout rate went from 35% down to, I think, the mid-20s in the second half of the season. The strikeout number courtesy of co-host and friend Mariner Sir. We were talking about Polanco, ironically, and then they announced the signing, funny enough. So there were some positives, right? There were some positive signs offensively for him. I remember I did the video after the Blue Jays game saying that just release him, release Ty France, release Polanco, I'm done. And then Polanco actually started to hit a little bit after that. It was up and down, but the second half was positive. You get a 114 WRC plus, you'll take it. I don't have a problem with him going to third base. I will say defense is one of those areas where I kind of trust the Mariners with Perry Hill. And if Perry Hill thinks he can work with Polanco and help him at third base, then I'm not going to fight that too much. He certainly wasn't great at second base. We know that. He did play some third base for Minnesota and was not a disaster. So, and with the injury and everything, third base may be a little bit better. I don't know what his arm strength really was. And again, I'm not great on that stuff. Like, is a guy moving to second and third? People with more baseball knowledge can comment on that one, but I'm fine with it. And I trust that Perry Hill turned Josh Rojas into one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball. Rojas deserves credit for that too. I don't think that'll be Polanco, but if the arm strength is there, then I think it can work, right? I think it's fine. So, and he is a switch hitter. That gives you some value too, that you can play him every day and doesn't have to platoon with anybody. So you feel kind of set. Okay, Polanco's at third base. I do think this team has needed another left-handed bat. I've talked about that because obviously Donovan Solano right-handed, Julio right-handed, Arozarena right-handed, Robles right-handed. You got Luke Raley, you have Cal, Dylan Moore right-handed, JP left-handed, but if you get 2023 JP, that matters, but 2024, the handedness doesn't matter as much as the performance just needs to improve. So I guess from that aspect, Polanco does check off some of the boxes that I've been wanting. It's tough to get super excited about a guy that was already here, wasn't very good, and is now being brought back. It's hard for me to go like, oh, baby, Jorge Polanco, let's go. I do think he can help. You guys know me. I will never come on and just completely bash a move, because sometimes moves that are under the radar or don't get a lot of, hubbub about them can work out very well. We didn't even talk or make a video about Victor Robles when he came over. Provided tremendous value. Luke Raley was kind of a little bit of an afterthought trade after the Mitch Haniger trade. Raley was fantastic. I liked the Polanco trade last year. To be clear on that, I absolutely loved when they acquired him last season. That was just, 1 year ago that they acquired him. So, and I love the move. I thought it was a fantastic move to shore up second base. Most people did. I don't think anybody in the Mariners, content creator community or fandom didn't like the move for Jorge Polanco at the time. So there are definite reasons this could work. If he's healthier and bounces back, this could be a nice 1 year deal for the Mariners that can absolutely help them. Like I said, you can look at it kind of two ways. Like I said, it's hard for me to be super excited about a guy that was here last year. But if you take a look at the current roster, I mean, did you really want to roll with, Austin Shenton and Ryan Bliss? Or does Polanco give you a little bit more of that safety net there? And in terms of the money, maybe a little expensive, but we're so far into the offseason. What else are they saving that money for? So, again, I do think it can work out. I absolutely do. So I don't want to be like overly negative about a move like this, but it's also a guy that I was kind of like ready to move on from. Now they brought back. So I just can't be crazy excited about it. But again, I feel like I'm just a walking contradiction in this video, but they needed to make moves. So, I think it's fine. It's not something I expect you guys to be popping champagne in the comments section, but hopefully we get that bounce back, right? Hopefully we can get that more 2023 Jorge Polanco. If they do, this can absolutely be a good move and help the Seattle Mariners ball club win some games. So we'll see what this ends up coming out as. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and hopefully it works out for the Mariners. I think it can. So we'll see. Have a great day, everybody. As always, go Mariners. Peace.